Hello, everybody. I think we're live. Woohoo!
Let us know.
Let us know if you can see us. I'm Sarah Negus, the modern day shaman, and I'm here with Agnes Kowalski, the wealth therapist, and we're going to be talking today about success consciousness, which is my new baby. I wanted Aggie to come on live with me because she's been really pivotal in my own experience of success consciousness. She's been a mentor of mine for 6 months and has always got lots of really very funny anecdotes and polarizing ideas. And I wanted to share that with you guys. So here we are. I'm going to go a bit blank now and hand over to Aggie while I go and share this about.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It's such an honor to be here. I feel very royal with everything royal going on lately. Talking with you makes me feel like I'm there, kind of at like an after party for the royal wedding. I'm Aggie K, wealth therapist, and thank you for that lovely introduction. I also, even though I have mentored Sarah, I think of Sarah as a mentor as well. She's an extremely powerful human being, healer, and I have learned a lot from her in our exchanges. So I'm so pleased to be here, and I'm excited to talk about success consciousness because the relationship between success consciousness and money consciousness is so related. I think it's an important conversation to have. And Sarah and I met through a mutual internet friend.
Whitney, I think she's going to be catching the replay, she says.
Oh, okay. So thank you, Whitney, for this glorious connection. And we met, and it was just kind of like an instant thing when you just know that you know. And I had a reading or a teaching reading, I don't know what you call it, where Sarah guided me.
And journey. We had a session.
Shamanic journey.
Yeah.
And that was amazing and really powerful. And if you have not worked with Sarah and had that experience yet, it's pretty spectacular. And she I don't know if you know this, but she goes into trance to do it, which is a pretty phenomenal thing. And I've not really had that experience very much. So it freaks me out in theory. And then in reality, it's such a beautiful, powerful, I mean, it was like sobbing and sobbing. Like it just releases things you didn't even know you had to release. So, and releasing has so much to do with getting into success consciousness, I think. I know it does for money consciousness, surely.
Yeah.
So it's a great conversation to have.
Well, thank you, Aggie, for filling in there. I've shared.
We're live everywhere now.
Yeah. Success consciousness is kind of different to, or what I'm talking about it here with you, is kind of different to attaching to an external situation. It's not really about how much money you earn, although it facilitates you being able to receive riches.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about your career, and it's not about whether or not you've got a hot relationship going. It's about you. And ultimately, it is the concept, the idea, the belief that you in your own being are success. So basically, you're existing, your experience of your life in the greater consciousness is success, end, period, exclamation mark.
Just your existence.
Just your existence. And when I've talked to lots of my clients about this, initially it's a very difficult concept for them to grasp. Well, hang on a minute. You mean I don't have to achieve anything to be successful? No. And in that, I've written down here a couple of things because I kind of write. I go into that trance place.
Yeah.
And I write. And I wrote from my higher self, success in knowing, success in being, success in doing, success in everything and everyone around you.
That feels so luxurious.
Yeah. And can you imagine how that links then into money consciousness, wealth consciousness?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's not part of the like the lowest consciousness of money is physical.
Yeah, those pound
which
notes.
Is where most people are focused, which is why it's such a low, hard, difficult, and slippery slope of consciousness, because it's the physical, right? It's the physical, and then the emotional, and then the mental, and then the spiritual, which is what you're talking about. So it's kind of like, a fast track in a way of getting to that spiritual consciousness with me.
Yes, it is. It's kind of coming in above all of those other levels that you've talked about. It doesn't mean it negates them.
Right.
It often means that it actually pulls them up and shows you the monsters that you've got going on inside of them that you've got to let go of.
It shows you the shadow.
Yeah. Yeah. I have 4 ways of bringing success consciousness into your life. The first one is to kind of light your fire. What can you get excited about? Are you excited about what it is that you're doing, or have you got complacent and bored? Now, you taught me this.
Right.
Yeah. I have a habit of getting right in my comfort zone and thinking, oh, that'll do. And then, of course, that will do isn't really exciting energy, is it? That isn't abundant flow.
No. And I think the reason we stay away from getting excited, there's a couple of reasons for staying away from getting excited. One is it's not your habit to get excited, because you've learned through like Pavlov's dog, you're not gonna get excited, because what if someone slaps your hand and says, no, not for you? You're not gonna get excited because what if it doesn't happen? You're not gonna get excited because you've had so many experiences of it not working out. You don't get excited because it's not your normal energy to be in.
No, it's not. And actually, for a long time, I used to associate excitement as anxiety.
This is a huge point, guys. A lot of people have this issue that excitement is, that's not true for me, but it is true for a lot of, I would say like 1 out of 2 people have this.
Yeah.
And zero, not factually based, this percentage, but between me and my husband, I'm like, for him, excitement is anxiety, chaos, too much, engulfment, I'm drowning, like anything spontaneous feels like anxiety.
Yeah, I know I'm going to like your husband when I meet him.
For him, excitement is like, it's really mellow and it's really chill.
Me too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the mellow and the chill doesn't lift you, doesn't kind of burn up. It doesn't bring the fire through. And this is something.
Do you have to go through some chaos to be in that fire? Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens, light your fire, then you kind of have to really seriously own your worth in that fire. I can do this, rather than, no, you can't. Oh, you silly.
Rather than I'm getting burned alive in this fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That brings up all of your resistances. And this is where the reframe comes in, and the letting go.
Oh, I love that. So you have to get into the fire. You have to give yourself, do the piece that says, like, I'm worth experiencing this energy. I have to be willing to, like, if everything feels kind of gray or mediocre, and isn't about, necessarily depression or something, it's just you don't spend a lot of time in that vibration. You got to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. So says Bear.
Bear agrees. Bear concurs.
It just brings to mind a client yesterday. I'm going off to speak at a retreat in Austria next month, and we have 30-minute sessions with the people that are going. And I met a lady yesterday who came on, and she was very flat. And I'm doing okay. I've got all of my ducks in a line. My website's going here, and she was really offering something very beautiful, the ability, or the opportunity to get out into nature and really breathe with the trees. you know, and feel that in your body. And I think that is so powerful in our life today. Anyway,
so beautiful, so powerful, and it's very relevant. That book, that The Life of Trees, is out. It's like very relevant.
But she was so flat with this, and when I said to her, "Well, where do you want to go? Where do you want to take this?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, I'm too afraid to actually even say those words." But I took her in trance, so we got out of her left side brain, and she actually could see how this would be a team building experience for corporates. And she went away, my dog and my cat having a conversation through the glass door, sorry. And she went away on a very different vibration with the fire burning in her belly. And she's messaged me today to say that she's actually been in touch with 2 people that she knows already who are in the corporate world who are very interested in what she has. So this is what I mean. Light your fire.
Right.
Overcome your resistances. Then take inspired action.
I love that. Yeah.
The last little piece, again, was something that I'm not very good at, and you know this.
Well, you can't be good at everything, Sarah.
No, I don't know why. Is the ability to receive. So you can have the fire burning in your belly. You can be owning your own worth. You can be taking inspired action to the point where you're doing, and trying to control every single situation.
Yeah.
Closes it all down. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're definitely in an industry that pushes for action. And and that's true for some people that are not action takers. That will be true. And then for some people who are very proactive and A-type people and are happy to take action, it's a massive distraction to receiving. Because there has to be, there's no point in taking action if there's not like a really solid intention. And there's just like there's phases in marketing where things are popular and then they become less popular and they become saturated and then they end and something new comes in. There's also, I would say there's a phase right now in the success consciousness of our industry. That's having that saturation point where people are like, well, but I'm doing all the things and things are still not happening. Yeah. Because there's a shift in consciousness happening for people.
There is, which is around the receiving muscle.
Around the receiving piece.
So when I take clients into trance and we go into a shamanic journey and we're looking at something, we're searching for something specific. That is very much, well, it's absolutely completely right side brain. That symbolism and imagery. And it opens up. I'm so sorry about him.
Oh, he's perfect.
He's probably annoying me more than you. It opens up the possibilities of what is for you. Because you've already kind of got inklings of it.
How does it integrate? How does it come together? Like, how does your right and your left then?
So in terms of allowing yourself to receive, the right side brain needs to actually open up, and you've got to be able to lean into that vision you see for yourself, the fire you feel in your belly.
So tell me a little bit more about right brain as you get into this, because I think it'd be helpful for the audience too, because if I have this question, probably other people do. Tell me a little bit more about, because people I think know on a very basic level, but why is right brain about receiving? And what's the relationship also of masculine to feminine with those sides?
Well, let me start with the left side brain, because that's seriously easy to talk about and everyone will understand. That's the part of your brain's like a computer.
Right.
It tracks a few things, and I follow the Heart Math Institute, and some of their research has shown that it tracks about 32 things. It's connected very much to your fight and flight system. So basically, if you are about to change, it will go, no, stop. Just stop.
Yeah.
And again, if you think about your ego, your small self, your human, it gives you an idea that you are separate and small. Your right side brain.
That's the creative side.
The creative side. The heart math, to give you an idea, cannot count how many things the right side brain can track at one time.
Oh, wow.
So if you think about the left side brain connects you to your now and your human body, the right side brain connects you to the consciousness that is you, that is everything. Your higher self, that you that is all-knowing,
right,
comes through your right side brain.
Okay, so what kinds of activities besides, I mean, obviously trance would be, learning how to get into trance would be one of them, but what other things get you into your right side brain?
Drawing, painting, creating, exercising, anything, basically anything that uses both sides of your body will take you in and out of both hemispheres of your brain. My son's dyslexic, and we spent many years when he was really struggling with it, hopping on one leg, shaking the other arm, so that he could learn to write in a linear fashion, so that he could actually get into his left side brain, because he really couldn't.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So anything that physically incorporates your whole body will bring you in much more into, well, actually both sides, but it will ignite your right side. If you're going to be drawing, if you're going to be creating, story writing, journaling, all of this.
Notice what gets you into receiving, guys. Notice what gets you into receiving. What gets you into success consciousness is also what gets you into money. It's creation. It's the co-creation. Yes. So if you're spending 5% of your time in creation and 95% of your time organizing stuff, that's why you're not making money.
Happen. Yes, for sure. So there is a bit of integration. So when you are doing, I would say you need to do it the other way around. Yeah, you need to spend 95% of your time in your right side brain, which is feminine energy, which is compassion, receiving, love, all of these things. And then the rest of the time in your left side brain, just giving all of the stuff that comes through some physical reality. So, something to ground it with.
That makes the left side work so much easier. All the people with questions about, like, what do I do? And what's the next step? And I'm stuck. And I don't know how to put this offer out. And I don't know what the offer should be or how to price it. Spend 85% of your time, 95% of your time in your right side brain. And I'm saying this to myself as well, guys. Because this is a constant reminder for people who are doers, for people for whom naturally it is easy, that they're naturally resourceful, they can do things with ease, and they haven't nurtured that creative side. Let's say you were not nurtured to be an artist. I have clients who are the reverse, who hire me because they're the artist. Yeah. Sure, this happens to you as well, Sarah, and they need someone with more left brain. But those of us who are, taught to have our self-esteem especially come from doing and doing for others, this feels very indulgent to spend 95% of our time in creativity. Yeah, I had someone tell me that it was the most selfish thing that they'd ever done. And I said, well, no, it's self-full. Self-full. How can you give to anything? How can you create anything from an empty bucket? You can't. You can't. There's nothing there. So fill yourself up with what you need before you then go out with it. Yeah, and design your life in a way that prioritizes that. Yeah. Where that's a message to your consciousness and to success consciousness, thinking about, well, what if I prioritize that? And that came first. And my exercise, well-being, creativity came before my client calls. Yeah. Came before, the stuff that I give to other people. Well, it should. Yeah. Always, for sure. Yeah.
There's one other thing that I want to touch on here today. God, it was just in my head. This is what comes when you're nearly 51. It was
We're that relaxed.
Ready for me to
We're that open to receiving. Well, let's just recap the different phases of success consciousness. So one is the fire. That's where it all starts. And if you need to ignite your fire, connect with your fire, and you can't feel it, you need to go to somebody like Sarah who can connect you from the spiritual realm so that you can see it from a different perspective, like instead of looking up, looking down and seeing it.
So in terms of, if you're looking at it from a shamanic view here, fire is the element that connects with your spiritual, timeless self. So when I'm saying ignite your fire, it's coming from quite a very grounded place in an ancient art, you know? And
I love that. Say that again. Exciting. It comes from
the element of fire.
Yeah,
is the element that aligns with your spiritual timeless self.
Oh my God, that's so delicious. Spiritual timeless self.
Yeah, I know.
That sounds just like delicious. The richest thing on the planet that you could, the richest space you could be in is in your spiritual timeless self. That's where the magic is alive and well.
And that's what happens on a shamanic journey, in trance. You really do open up to that aspect of you, which is so difficult to do, particularly if you're a doer.
Yeah.
Then we come to the owning your own worth. That's quite an earth element, which is about grounding who you are.
So fire and then earth.
Yeah.
And so the fire, then grounding who you are. Yeah.
And then unpacking your resistances. That's the emotions around why not. So that's water.
Flow.
Yeah.
Emotions. Yeah, love that.
And then finally, the ability to receive is air. So it's really opening your crown chakra and trusting yourself.
Oh, I love that. That is so luxurious. And I love how connected it is to the elements. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't actually even realized that. That's just come through.
Oh my God, I love it. Live channeling. You're welcome.
Yeah. So, and you did that. When you talked about the fire and how the fire did, I don't know what it was, but it came through from there. So thank you.
Oh, beautiful. And that's just another way for you to do it too. So, go walk on the earth, like do the hippie thing and take your shoes off and go be in the grass and do the things that connect you. Be aware of it sounds like it would amplify each stage of this to even connect with the actual elements.
Yeah, it really would. And particularly if you live near water, if you have got an emotional response to that fire of your dream, go and sit near the water.
To process.
To process and take your journal and see what comes through, and you'll be amazed.
Well, there's a retreat waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Build a fire.
We do that
in the earth.
We do that already in Ibiza in October, if anyone's out there wanting to come.
If you're watching, you're going to do that in October. And you have a retreat coming up, right?
Yeah, we do. October the 18th, it's four nights. And we do have a fire ceremony. We go off to watch the sunset over the third most magnetic place in the earth. We listen to the drums on the beach by the water. It's a very, very powerful experience. I've been doing it for 10 years. So this is my 10th anniversary. So I know it's going to be very special.
Ooh, better get on that list, people. And you have a virtual event coming up tomorrow, right?
I do. I actually have a Dream Bigger workshop tomorrow, which is this idea. This is the first step of success consciousness. It's going to light up the fire within. So it's very interesting. It's a whole day. But if you are interested in joining me, there's an online version where I'm going to record the whole thing, and you get to either come virtually live or to
are people going to get to do like on a shamanic journey?
Yeah, we're going to do that all day.
Is there a replay?
Yes.
Okay, so she's going to post the links below. So
I am.
join. I love all the connections here between success and money and the left side of the brain and the feminine and receiving. The more you know about how you operate, the more you're able to do with that.
Yeah.
The more you can, like, just the more powerful you become. So if you know not much about how you operate, it's going to be hard to amplify anything. It's going to be hard to overcome anything. It's going to be hard to have a higher vibration.
The thing is, when you do throw the concept up of, I'm success in being me, am I? You start to get to know how you operate pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because
love that.
Yeah. So, Aggie, do tell us where we can find you.
You can find me over on Instagram at Agnes Kowalski, on YouTube as Agnes Kowalski. I don't have a moniker, it's just Agnes Kowalski. I have close to 100 videos now on YouTube, so plenty of resources there. Some good stuff, and at agneskowalski.com as well. Yeah. So hop on over, visit me. I have some good free juicy resources, some paid juicy resources, and I'm going to practice saying that word in the future.
The way you say it. Resources. The thing is that working with Aggie really did shift things for me a lot. So if you're doing good and you want to do better.
Well, I kind of feel the same way about Sarah's, that you need to, there comes a point where your left brain is just not gonna get the job done anymore.
No, you have to actually really find some other way. And that's what we're talking about here today. And thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it.
I adore you. Such a fan. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for joining us, guys. Let us know in the comments which parts really stood out to you, because they were insightful for me. And I get to see this lady a lot, and every time I talk to her. So get into the event tomorrow and to the retreat. Get your butts over there. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. See you soon. I'm going to end.